Hello friends, welcome to Code Coding. In this video, we are going to learn Python interview questions related to data type conversion. So first thing that we need to cover is what is data type conversion. So the process of converting the value of one data type to another data type is called type conversion or data type conversion. So we have already covered how many data types are there in Python. So please watch that video before going through this video. So the process of converting the value of one data type to another data type is called as type conversion. So Python has two types of conversion. So first one is implicit type conversion. Second is explicit type conversion. What is implicit type conversion? In implicit type conversion, Python automatically converts one data type to another data type. So we did not need to do the conversion. So Python will automatically convert the one data type to another data type as per the requirement. So let's see with the help of example implicit data type conversion. So this is my PyCharm editor. I have the file called main.python file. So inside this file, we will declare one variable. So let's declare variable name as num1 and let's provide an integer value here. So we will say a 10. So this 10 value is assigned to variable num1. And if we try to check the type of this num1, then what will be the type here? So we know how to check the type of a variable with the help of type function. You need to name the type function and provide the name of variable, which is num1 here. So if I run this code, so what will be the output in this case? So it will give me the data type, so integer data type. Okay. Now let's declare another variable here. Let's declare num2 and let's provide a float value to it. Let's say 10.1. So this is a float value as it is in decimal. If we check the type of num2 now, let's copy this statement here, paste it here and replace num1 with num2. Run the code. So we will get here float because the type of num2 is float. So if we try to add these two variables, let's have another variable here num3 and we will add it. Okay, num1 plus num2. And now we will print the value of num3. Let's print it here. Print num3. Let's remove your type of num2 and num1. We will now check the type of num3. If I try to run this code, so see we are getting here value as 20.1 because 10 plus 10.1 will add to 20.1. So we are getting the value of num3 as 20.1. And what is the type of num3? It is float. So by default, Python has automatically done the conversion for the num3 variable. As num1 was integer, num2 was float. So the result was float. So we have seen that this value was integer and this was float. So Python always convert smaller data type to larger data types to avoid the loss of data, as this integer value was there and float value. If we convert this to integer, then there was a loss of data, right? We will only get the value of 20 if this num3 was treated as integer. But Python has treated this num3 as float. So that's why we are able to get the value here 20.1. Now the another data type was explicit data type. So what happens in explicit type conversion? In explicit type conversion, user converts the data type of an object to a required data type. So here Python will not automatically change the data type. User will need to provide the data type and then the variable will be converted to that specific data type. Now here, instead of providing here float value, if we change this to a string, let's say we pass it inverted commas, so this will be treated as string now. If I remove this part here and check the type of num2, so what will be the type of num2 now? It will be string, right? So see, we are getting a string. And now if we try to add these two values inside num3, so num3 is equal to num1 plus num2, and then we will print num3, print num3, num3. Let's run this code. So see, we are getting here error. what error says? Unsupported operand type integer and string. So Python cannot add this particular two type of variables, which is integer and string. So here we need to explicitly convert the data type of a variable. So what we will do, we will try to convert this string into an integer. So how to do this? Now here we have a num2 as string. So what we will do, we will say here num2 is equal to int. Here you need to say int built-in function, and inside this function you need to pass the variable name that you want to convert into integer. So we want to convert this num2 in integer data type. So we will pass this value here. So how we have converted this string into the integer? You just need to pass that particular variable inside this int function. And now if I try to run this code, so here we are getting error invalid literal for int with base 10 10.1, because this will be treated like a float value. So instead of that, if I convert it to float, then what will happen? Let me change it to float. See, now this particular value is treated as a float value, and then this integer and this float value results to 20.1, and the type of num3, let me print here type of num3 now, will be float. So here you are able to see the float value, and instead of this, if I remove this particular decimal value, then you will be able to convert this into integer as well. If I run this code now, so see, we are getting our output 111, and the class is integer now, because the two variables that we are trying to add here both are integer. So I hope you understand the difference between implicit data type conversion and explicit data type conversion. Now moving towards the question. So the first question we have is, how will you convert a string to an int or float in Python? So we have already seen how we have converted this particular string into integer by providing a function int, and how we have converted that to float by providing a float function. So remember these two functions, int and float. So how will you convert a string to a tuple, list or set? So we have seen how to convert a string into integer and float. Now we will see how to convert a string to a tuple, list or set in Python. So to convert a string to a tuple, you need to make use of function tuple, and inside this tuple you need to pass the string. In similar ways, for list you need to make use of list function, and for set you need to make use of a set function. Now let's see that in our demo. Now I will remove this entire code here. Now we will have one string name. Name is the, and inside this we will pass one string. Let's say welcome to Code Crush. And here, now this is a string type, right? And now what we want to do, we want to convert this to, let's say first we want to convert this into a tuple. Now let's say t is the variable name for tuple, and here you will say tuple, and inside this tuple you will pass your name, and now you will try to print t, as well as you will try to print the type of t. So let's check whether this works. Let's run this code. So see, here each character is treated as one single element inside a tuple. Here you can see W, E, L, C, O, M, E, 2, C, O, D, E, then C, R, U, S, H, and as it is surrounded by a round brackets, so the class is tuple. If I remove this to a list function, then it will convert to list. Let me show you that. So see, now the class is list, as we have converted this particular string to a list type, and this list data type is surrounded by a square brackets. And now if I change this to a set, then notice the difference here. Now it is converted to set, but our original data is somewhat changed here. Why this has happened? Because set, what are the properties of set? Set is unordered, like you will not receive the data in which you have passed, and also set does not allow duplicates. So in previous list as well as in tuple, you were getting letters double, like if E is repeated twice, then you were able to get the E twice in the same sequence. But in set, the characters are not in sequence, and also each character you are getting a single time. Here you can see E was repeated here twice in welcome. Also in Code Crush it was single time. So in total E was there in our string 3 times. But here you will see only one particular E. Also this particular C, this was in lowercase, this was in uppercase. So that's why you are getting here two different C, one in lowercase, one in uppercase. But the replication of characters is avoided in set.